Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions, 4 p.m. BST on a Thursday. Sorry, I can't even speak at the moment. Exhausted, been a long week already, but I'm sure this man's exhausted as well. Kian Golzari, you're live and direct from Dubai at the moment, aren't you? 4 hours ahead.
That's right, yeah. 8 p.m. in Dubai. Hope everyone's doing well. Nice to connect with you guys again. And hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday.
Cool. I'm going to share to the groups. Do you just want to give people an update of what you've been up to this week, and then we'll get into the show?
Sure. Yeah. Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're well. My name is Kian Golzari. This week, I'm actually living in Dubai at the moment. I moved here about a week and a half ago, just to escape the Scottish winter, which is brutally cold. Escapes the lockdowns as well, which is going on in the UK. It's great because life is pretty normal over here. Everything seems to be open, and you just have to wear masks, but it doesn't feel like there's a pandemic when you live here. So it's nice in that regard. I've got some close friends within the Amazon community, which are here as well. Dan Ashburn, who did a in-depth with you, Danny, recently as well. Right. Him and I were hanging out today. Yes, it's been a lot of fun. Absolutely loving it out here.
Excellent. So let's get into it. Chinese New Year is nearly upon us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's kick off from there. There's the key things we've got to understand. I mean, everyone knows about Chinese New Year to a point, but we're going to talk about the nuances of that, aren't we? And I'm sure that loads of people out there are fried at the moment. We've got about another week and a little bit to go before postage stop, i.e. Q4 kind of goes off a cliff a bit, and people are going to have their Christmas if they celebrate Christmas, and then they're going to start be thinking, or if not already, they should be thinking about Chinese New Year and getting their products out for March time or so.
Exactly. And it's something you have to really think about in advance, because Chinese New Year is actually going to be on February 12th in 2021. And you think, oh, that's 2 months away. I don't really need to worry about that for now. But actually, it has a huge impact on all of our businesses. First of all, Chinese New Year is the biggest people migration in the world. You have over 100 million people traveling over that time period, because if you think about it, the workforce comes from the rural areas, and they have to migrate back home over this period. And essentially that's when factories are closed. So it's and factories tend to close before Chinese New Year as well. So something that's really, really important that you want to check in with your manufacturers right now is find out, when is the office closed, when is the factory closed, and what's the last date I can place an order to get shipment before Chinese New Year. Now, everyone's going to be different depending on your category of product, how much available production space they have. But it's so you can't assume that manufacturing is going on as normal at the moment, because this is when orders really pile up as well. So it's super important to check in and understand these dates. And if you're just placing orders every now and then don't worry about it. But someone who needs stock when they need it, you have to really forecast around Chinese New Year. And the interesting thing is that Chinese New Year is based on the lunar calendar, so the date changes every single year. This year in 2020,
February. What did you say the February date was? Because normally it's January, end of January or so, isn't it? But
exactly, yeah. So it's going to be February 12th, but in 2020 it was January 25th. So it's easy to assume, for us, all right, New Year's Day, January 1st, so it's going to be January 25th again next year for China. But no, it's not the case. It changes all the time. And it's quite funny because each year resembles a different animal as well. And we're going into the year of the ox. So it's good to know what animal, and if you want to send any greeting cards to your manufacturers, it's really simple and they really appreciate this. If you just type into Google 2021 year of the ox, get a greeting card, and then put your company logo on the front, and then just send that as an email. But obviously you don't need to do that right now. They'll probably send you some Christmas messages before you do that. But so as I said, it's a really important time to plan ahead. And if you are, so that's if you're placing existing orders. Now, if you want to place your first order, you just found a product that you want to source, and this is the first time you're working with this manufacturer or ordering this product, you probably want to wait until after Chinese New Year, because not only is your delivery time is going to be really long, but the price can tend to be higher as well, just because it's all about supply and demand, and the factory is going to be very busy at the moment. And they're probably not likely able to take on more orders, but if they do, they will at an inflated price, because they'll either hire more workers or make the workers work overtime. So they'll kind of make it in a rush. So it's not the best time to be placing orders. So you kind of want to avoid this time if you can. And not only is it the issue with the factories, but it's also with the freight forwarders as well, because this is like huge volume, huge capacity that must be like freighted at this time. And, you know, for anyone who's shipping products at the moment, like it's insane what's happening to freight prices. Normally, right, for Chinese New Year, and this is a very unique Chinese New Year because of obviously what's happened in the world this year, but normally I would expect around Chinese New Year, like the freight prices to go up maybe 10%, 15%, something like that. But right now they're doubling. And if you think that you're paying like, you know, $2,000 for a container, $2,500, and now you have to pay $4,000, it's a mess. And that's really just because, like, okay, Amazon have got restrictions into how many goods you can send in, right? 3PLs, like storage facilities, are filling up. There's literally not enough space to store people's goods. And then when these containers come from China to the US or UK or whatever, there isn't actually somewhere to like house the products. So containers are backing up and stacking up at the port. And as a result, when the containers get emptied, those empty containers then ship back to China to be then recycled again. And those empty containers are not going back to China. So now, you know, they're trying to get all these goods out, but there's physically not containers to ship them out. And that's causing a shortage of shipments as well, which is causing price to go up. So it's really a mess with freight forwarding at the moment. So one thing we can do around this is, okay, if you realize that your container prices have doubled and you've just placed an order for like 4,000 pieces or whatever, just say to your manufacturer, hey, can you ship maybe 1,000 and hold 3,000 in stock in your warehouse for me and ship it after Chinese New Year? That way you can wait for this sort of madness with freight prices to pass, maybe until March, and then you can ship it at a much like cheaper rates. That's just something to be really mindful of this time of year as well.
Yeah, I mean, Cybe's coming. Good afternoon, gents, peeps, etc. Shipping rates, holy fuck, he says. $6,000 for 40 HQ. It's out of control.
Yeah, it's insane. So really, if you have to take the stock, then you have to take it, because obviously you don't want to go out of stock. But if you don't need shipment right now, just ship whatever you do need, and then hold the rest in storage in your manufacturer's warehouse. And
so realistically, even though we're taking place on Feb 12th, then you've got the grind of it, all the factories starting up, getting into swing of things, the backlogs of the orders. So effectively, if you're looking to launch any new products now, it's too late to really speak to them without leverage on pricing, right? Because they'll go out to the highest bidder. Yeah. And also, of course, that you're not going to get anything into Amazon till about May, with the 60 to 70 days lead that you're going to need, because you've got the manufacturing time, you've got the shipping times if you're doing it by sea. And then you've got delays, because they're going to promise you that they can get it out the door by X, but that will be delayed by 2 or 3 weeks. So when you add it all up, realistically, if you're launching a new product, that product won't hit the store like hit Amazon till May if it's in the US.
Yeah, and the reason I mentioned, okay, you want to check when is your office closed and when is your factory closed, because office workers tend to be like from that city, right? And they'll maybe take 7 days off or 10 days off, similar to the amount of time that we take off at Christmas and typical like offices here. But it can be misleading thinking, okay, the office is only off for a week, so you just assume that the factory is also only off for a week. But the factory tends to be off for like maybe 3 weeks or a month. And the other thing is that, like, not all of the same factory workers come back to work in that factory after Chinese New Year. They might migrate to other areas where there's better benefits or better pay. So if you're in, like, I don't know, a pillow factory this year, you can be like, I didn't really like my boss. I want to go work in an electronics factory this year because they pay a little bit more and it's closer to home or something like that. And then for that reason, when the new workers come back, you have to allow maybe 2-3 weeks for those new workers to get trained how to then make those products as well. Now, I've done so many orders, right? And when I've touch wood, I've not really had many big issues, but whenever I have had an issue, it's always been around goods which have been produced right before or right after Chinese New Year. Right before, because the workers are in a rush to get home. As soon as they finish their orders, they can get on a train and they can go home. So they rush it, right? And then after Chinese New Year, because it can be new workers who aren't well trained in that product, and they're also trying to get the orders out to ease off the backlog. So again, another thing you can do around this is you should be doing pre-shipment inspections anyway on all your orders, but especially the ones right before and right after Chinese New Year, you have to do pre-shipment inspections just so you can find out if there are any quality issues going on.
Yeah. So again, Cybe's come back. I heard that Sony paid 40k to move a box of PS5. He's then followed up by saying forwarders say April or May for rates to stay up at these spikes. So they're not coming down anytime soon. What do you think of that? I mean, you got a bit more scoop than Si. I know Si's a lovely guy, but what would you say there? Do you think it will stretch out as far as April or May?
Well, I don't know, because it can also come down as well, because freight prices are always based on capacity. It's like how many containers can you fit on a vessel, and then depending on how many orders they get, or if there are more vessels on the sea, then they have more capacity. And sometimes the vessels can be restricted based on, you know, number of containers available and things like that. So as soon as the capacity increases, then the price will drop. So freight forwarders never really tend to give, unless you book in advance, they never really tend to give prices more than like 1 month ahead. So the prices always alternate like month to month. Now you could risk it and the price could increase next month, or the price could decrease next month. But it's really important to stay in touch with your freight forwarder, because you can't go off trends to be like, okay, last year the freight prices in March and April were X, so I presume there'll be X again this year. Way different situation, way different capacities. You just kind of have to go month to month with your freight prices, and yeah, just check in and hopefully the prices will come down. But it's too early to sort of forecast that far in advance.
Cool. There's another comment here. Cat Phipps says, well, check out these two hunks giving us all the tips. Thank you very much. Kata will be sending you an updated prescription for your glasses at Specsavers over the next couple of weeks. What else have we got to cover here in terms of now going into the new year, right? So some sellers are going to be newly minted. They've had a great Q4. And so now they want to invest and grow their business into 2021. Now they want to start negotiating at factory level. Tough time, really, isn't it? To start trying to have those conversations, regardless how much capacity you've got in terms of finance. The timing's piss poor, really, to start saying, can we get 60 days net terms, etc.
Yeah, well, the good thing is, like, if you've placed repeat business with a factory and you're loyal, and they'll support you regardless. But one thing all sellers can do to sort of help themselves for 2021, and also to sort of avoid this sort of Chinese New Year pileup, is that you want to be planning out forecast orders for 2021. So maybe this month or January, start to think about, okay, how many units did I sell in total last year? And how many units do I anticipate that I'm going to sell in total this year? So let's say, for example, right, I forecast I'm going to sell 10,000 units of X product, right? Then just say to your manufacturer, over the course of 2021, I forecast, and you're not ordering it, you're forecasting you're going to order that 10,000 units of product X, right? And then you can say, okay, in March, I'll probably ship 2,000 pieces. In April, I'll ship 2,000. In July, I'll ship 2,000. But what you can do is you can ask them to hold the raw materials in stock for your entire forecast order. So you're not paying for those goods, but they're holding it in stock, and are more likely to hold the materials in stock for you the less customizable it is. Like, for example, if it's a black polyester material, then by all means, they'll hold it in stock, because if you don't take it for any reason, they can easily sell it to someone else. But if you have a customized goldfish pattern, which is only known for your brand, they may not hold that in stock, because they know that if you don't take this forecast that you say, that they can't do anything with that fabric. So if you can forecast your orders, then you can really, the manufacturer will hold that in stock, and this will massively drop your lead times. And then you can basically plan for your orders well before Chinese New Year. The other thing around Chinese New Year as well is a lot of people always ask, well, should I send my supplier a gift? Because obviously this is their holiday period. What's the philosophy on gifts here? And luckily, Christmas comes first, right? So your supplier gets the first move to say, like, all right, how are they going to treat you over your holiday period? And it can be common for them to send you an actual Christmas card in the post, or it can be an e-card, e-greeting, or it can actually send you a Christmas present as well. So I would kind of see what they do first, and then maybe in January or beginning of February, you can plan what you want to do for them. But for sure, you definitely want to be doing that e-card greeting, where just grab an image off Google, you're the Ox, add your company name, add their factory name, and just put it on your email footer, or just send it out. That's the minimum you should do, because, you know, Danny, we've talked many times about the importance of like supplier relationships. And this is a key aspect to show that you care, you know, about their holiday. And also, you know, previously when we talked about relationships, we've always mentioned like WeChat, the application on your phone. And this is a perfect time to just chat to them on WeChat to say like, hey, what are you up to for Chinese New Year? Are you going to see your family? How often do you get to see your kids during the New Year? Have you got any like cool presents? Can you send me some
photos?
You
go to their weddings, don't you? You get invited to weddings and all sorts. I mean, like you're literally hooked up with factories.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my really close friends who owns a factory, he asked me to name his child as well, which was quite cool. But yeah, we've got
Kian
amazing.
second.
Yeah. No, I actually so it was funny. I was actually in Prague at Augustus's event, and I was thinking about naming the child Augustus, but I was like, nah, better not. It turns out it was a girl, and because I was born in the month of June, I just gave the name June. So they let me clear that up. They wanted me to give the child the English name, not the Chinese name. So the parents chose the Chinese name, and they're like, we also need to give it an English name. So I chose the name June. Which I thought was quite nice. But so those relationships all come from, going there face to face and chatting, but obviously we can't go there face to face at the moment. So WeChat is the next best thing. And you can use this time to build that relationship, and then your service level and what they offer you next year is going to vastly improve because they kind of spent their holiday period chatting to you and explaining to you what happens in Chinese New Year. And it's cool to see all the fireworks and stuff like that and exchanging of red envelopes. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah. Sai says, I'm surprised a hunk like Kian doesn't have a mirror on his bedroom ceiling. So can you confirm or deny?
That's a great idea, actually. I might actually set that up, so you might see it for the next podcast episode we do. But I'm actually, this is actually just a guest room at the moment, which I'm staying in. So I'm actually looking to get my own place here. So as soon as I do, Sai, I'm for sure gonna.
Sai, can you send some of your ceiling mirrors that you sell on Amazon?
Yeah.
What else would you like to cover that's pertaining to Chinese New Year?
I mean, it's a fun time in New Year as well, obviously for the Chinese, because it's essentially their biggest holiday of the year. So just make sure you send them your warm greetings and warm wishes. But as we talked about, it's also a time that we have to be very, very careful and make sure we don't run out of stock as well. So the earlier you can plan it, the better. And if this is your first time hearing about Chinese New Year, then just mark it in the calendar right now. Ask your supplier when is the last day I can get production if I need to place an order before Chinese New Year. And chances are it's right now, because all the manufacturers I'm speaking to are like, if you need an order before Chinese New Year, now is the time. So literally after this podcast, literally just ask your suppliers and see if you need stock. Now is the time to order it. Cool.
And so how long are you going to be in Dubai now for then? You just wait till you get out the horrible winter months?
Yes, I'll be here for I think 6 weeks. I'll be coming back mid-Jan, but I might actually stay here because as it happened, I was planning on moving to LA. Well, I was living in LA before lockdown, came back to Scotland, and then I'm actually quite fancy moving here for a little bit because
why not? You've got no restrictions, have you? It's not like you've got young children or anything. Why not?
Nah, single, ready to mingle. So it's a good place to be, and also the time difference to China is only 4 hours, and so you get more time being able to chat to them. And a flight to China is only 7 hours as well, rather than 12 or 14 from the UK. So literally, as soon as they open up, I'll be the first guy there. So it's quite cool to be based here as well. I've got good friends here as well. So I love it. You should definitely come out, Danny.
I'd love to. I need to speak to the wife. I don't think she'd be too happy. I'm already meant to be coming to another event in February that's on the discussion board, but we'll see. That's probably not something to discuss publicly on the podcast, but there you go. So wrapping the show now, just let everyone know tomorrow 60 guests in 60 seconds. It's Seller Session 600. Kian, you can't make it, but if you do have a chance to jump on mobile or something, you're more than welcome to join. What's the best way that people can reach you?
For sure, yes. So I've got a YouTube channel, Sourcing with Kian. I've also got a Facebook group, Sourcing with Kian as well. And shout out to Sharon, great guest of the show as well. It's her birthday today, so we want to shout out.
Happy birthday to Sharon Evan. We'll be chatting tomorrow on Seller Session 600 as well about some other bits and pieces. Yeah.
And Danny, I mean, sorry I can't be there tomorrow, but that's an amazing accomplishment. Episode 600, wow, that's a real body of work. And if you think about the amount of content which has been on each episode and the amount of listeners that you have, the amount of value that you've given to this community, it's absolutely unbelievable. So thank you to you for being such an amazing host of such an amazing show. We all owe you a lot.
No one owes me anything. I just think, you know, I get a lot from this as well, from a selfish point of view. I learn a lot. I've built a great network of people. I feel like I've got a family, a community here. I mean, I know it has its ups and downs, and this person's pissed with that person, all that kind of stuff. But when you cut through all the bullshit, I think we've got a great community, and that's what inspires me to keep doing it as well.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for having me, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Cool. All right, guys, going to sign off now. Don't forget, look in the ticker below, daysofnuggets.com. Go visit there. Mine's up today. I think it's called, what's it called? I should know this. Brand Analytics, Bullets, and Listing Attacks. So go and have a look at that. I go over some techniques to protect your neck there and some other stuff on brand analytics you may not be aware of. Good event. It's running till tomorrow. This is to help abolish and save money, to raise money towards slavery, etc. But yes, going to sign off now. Back here 4 p.m. BST tomorrow. Take care.